Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Guyz, coming to you live from downtown Atlanta. No, not downtown Atlanta, but close enough. We are on the air. The chat is open. The phone lines are open. 1-888-88-YERGZ, and I'm going to bring in my cohort here. Are we live on WDJY?
We are. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Not WDJY, just yours, right?
Oh, okay. All right. So
that's the only thing I was checking, but I am still live on Twitter Spaces.
Okay.
And that now, I don't know if you were aware of this, but that Twitter Spaces used to only be available on the phone for a verified account. Now it's available on the desktop.
Okay.
So people like you and me that are doing stuff like this all the time, can use it more practically. That was one of the rants I was going on before I hooked up with you guys, was how I tried it last fall, and there was no way that I could get connected to it good enough.
Okay. Well, I've got everybody hiding backstage, and we are live, by the way. We're on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn. Oh, I don't know, Trovo, Kick, Twitch. I said Twitch. Now, Yerg's Radio. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. So let's see who I got hiding back here. I got Miss Cheyenne and Miss Dina. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, ladies.
Hi.
And let me go over here. And I got to push this button because I got too many buttons to do. And let's introduce our guest. We've kept her backstage. However, I want to warn everybody before we get going. She is under tornado warnings in her area. So if she ducks out, we're just going to let her go. So that's what we do here. So Miss Hill, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Glad that didn't work. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
my part's done, so I want to let you get on with your show.
All right. Okay. Well, we will see.
All right, everybody.
Thank you,
Have fun after the show. I'll see you again.
All right. Bye. In case anybody doesn't know, that is Ross Yergs. He is the owner of Yerg's Radio that allows us to have the phone lines and go out live over his internet radio. So if you're not able to watch on YouTube, you can go to yergsradio.com and listen there. So, all right. So, sorry, we were trying to do a handoff from a radio station. They want to test going live from their show to my show to see how it would work. And I don't think it went too well, but that's okay.
When does it ever go the way it's supposed to?
Never the first time.
They told me at 8:15. It's the best I got.
Oh well.
Trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, we're live everywhere. I had the weather radar up earlier because I know my mom lives in Knoxville, and she's going to get hammered here in the next few hours. So, actually looking at it now, earlier. Not too far away. Yeah, that's right. Adina is also in Tennessee, so if she disappears, we'll let her go too. Cheyenne is in West Virginia. Oh, no. There's no hurricanes or hurricanes, tornadoes. She's gone.
Oh no!
There you are. Did you just get blown away there for no reason?
Apparently.
Okay.
Mother Nature trying to tell me something.
Nah.
Yeah. So I apologize for all that. Anybody that wants to call in and ask a question, you can call in now. 1-888-88-YERGZ, 1-888-88-YERGZ on your phone pad. So, how are you, young lady? I appreciate you coming on, even though you're under a tornado watch or warning.
I appreciate you having me on more than you appreciate me being here.
We
Ah,
don't know.
come on. You're gonna make my head swell up now. Come on.
Please don't do it.
I'm highly recommended from B Dizzle, Bobby Dizzle. You come highly recommended.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty much a neighbor. He's
Oh.
really like 20 minutes apart.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. Yeah, I
Well,
didn't
we
know
know
if he
where
was going
to-
to be on tonight or not. So
We know who to send if
Yeah.
we need anything taken care of.
all right,
Yeah.
he disappears.
Do you go by? Is it Cyn?
I do. It's short for Cynthia.
That's what I said. Exactly what I told you.
Uh,
There was no Z in it. Okay, R apostrophe. So
I didn't say that. It was simple to me. I mean, I don't know.
I speak fluent redneck, so I occasionally will sometimes offend the person that's on the show by mispronouncing their name. So
no. Growing up as a Shrader, I got that mispronounced all the time. So
Oh,
it's all good.
yeah.
gotcha. So tell us a little bit about you. You like to do the haunted stuff, and you have a hospital that you frequent that's haunted, correct?
Yes, that was actually the first real investigation I did. And after the new owner took over, then he asked my group, Elk Valley Paranormal, to be the host group. And we got to do, be the regular group to do public tours and special events and things like that. So it's a pretty haunted place.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I know were born there and have had relatives die there, friends, relatives, or have worked there. So it actually closed the day before 9/11, which is really an odd time to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and then they had been, moving parts of it, like they would move, say, radiology over to the new hospital, so they're doing a little at a time. But the last day that place was open was 9/10, and it's still, it was haunted while they were working in it, and it's just more so now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty nutty.
One question I always have about when you frequent a place, do you get to know the resident spirits?
Some of them, but when you have people coming in from all over, and some of them might not be as experienced as others and don't know not to close sessions or whatever,
Yes.
you have some weird things popping in. And I will tell you that we had, we were on, can I mention a TV show or no?
No, you can absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. We're not
Ghost
shy.
Adventures came down to investigate the old hospital back a few years ago. I did not get to meet them personally, except for a couple of the crew, I guess. But we weren't important enough. We weren't important enough, which is
So you
fine.
need to know how Zach Baggins is in real life.
I get that. I get
Probably
that.
not.
Finding Bigfoot for me. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, he's an ass.
Yeah, I started to say, I said probably not very nice.
No,
Kind
he's
of the
not.
same thing I say about the lead guy on Finding Bigfoot. So
You
But
never get
when-
one that's cute and nice at the same time.
Yeah.
No, you don't, do you? You certainly don't.
Hardly.
Oh, yeah. What about this one? What about this one?
I'm talking about ghost hunters, not Bigfoot hunters.
Well, and after they left, something dropped off of him or
Oh,
his group. And it wasn't,
Yeah.
and we knew it almost immediately because it was darker, it was heavier, it was something that we weren't used to. And the place is just not, it's not been the same.
oh.
No.
Now, was this before or after he started his little collection?
I don't know. It was before he was talking about it.
Hmm.
So this was like, and I can't tell the exact year. I know that I started Elk Valley Paranormal in 2014, and we were asked to be the group soon after that. The owner reached out to me within those first few months. So it had to be, I know it was before 2019, and it had to be somewhere around 2015-ish, something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was building up on it at that time, but
Yeah.
I don't trust that he would be as smart about having all of that as he tries to put off.
No.
Well, well, Zach did, or does. I don't know if they still have a show even, but he always would open himself up to that stuff to invite him
Yes.
to,
Stupid.
enter him or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Which is
crazy.
stupid.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about investigating, you know not to open yourself up like that.
Right.
Because you never know what's going to come through.
Whatever
Exactly.
you
And
take
go home
home
with
is on
you.
you, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you think you're talking to Great Aunt Mary, it might
Yeah.
not be Great Aunt Mary that goes home with you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Somebody's saying they're great Aunt Mary, but
May not even
Yeah.
be. Yeah,
it might
right.
not be. It might not
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I've heard from many of them. Many people say that if you were jerks in real life, you're jerk in the afterlife. If you're a
Yeah.
prankster in real life, you're a prankster in the afterlife.
That's
so.
exactly
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
believe that too. And you know, some of them have senses of humor that are just
Oh yeah.
they're great.
Yeah.
Great. One of the ones I remember, and he wasn't happy that we were there. It was at a resident, and I knew something was around me, but I couldn't see it. I could just feel something was different. And so it was right before we actually were doing the investigation. We were doing the preliminary, and I was walking around taking photos inside this house. Some other team members were outside. Some were talking to the family, but I was taking pictures. And when I went to the next room, I said, I know somebody's here with me, so I'm just taking pictures. Come with me. And I went in that room and took pictures, went into the next room, said, come with me, and went into the third room. About the third time I said that, when I got home and went through the audio, this curmudgeon, it was a little curmudgeon of a man. He goes, I got better idea than to follow you around all night.
It's funny.
all right, Grandpa.
Well, then,
Exactly.
worked in the real life, it may work in the afterlife. You never know. So,
Yeah.
that was his pickup line.
It would be me in the afterlife being like, you don't got to tell me every time. I'm dead.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
seeing what you're doing.
I don't want to knock on the door again.
Right. Yeah.
I've done it 4 times. Just because you didn't hear it don't mean nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Funny.
one of the funniest ones I've heard was, and he's going to be mad at me, the Oregon paranormal group that's so large. They were setting up, and they had their recordings going already, but they were still setting up. When they went back and wrapped up, they didn't have much success. At the very beginning, before they brought anybody else in, the mics were all hot and everything. Somebody said to the microphone, "Yeah, they're tape or they're recording us. Don't say anything." And I thought that was great. I was like, they got you, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm dead. I ain't stupid.
Yeah.
And that happens quite often, really. And can you imagine? We were laughing about this a couple of weeks ago, talking about smudging rituals and stuff. Can't you just see the ghost going, "Oh God, they're okay. Go, everybody, go in here.
Yeah.
Go in here.
Yeah. Everybody's
Oh God,
going
okay,
here.
let's go in here." No, they're just running from it.
Yeah.
Well, and I could just because I guess depending on the situation of whether somebody understands they're dead or not, like just ghost like, who keeps letting these people in?
Yeah.
God, get it out of here! Quit. I can't. My grandkids wouldn't let me enjoy my retirement, and now I can't even enjoy this.
Exactly. That'll be me. So,
Yeah, you probably will.
I'll still be sitting here behind this mic. Whoever gets it next, they're in trouble. So
Yeah.
Why do I keep hearing what is a sport cat?
well, we've had things show up in this mic too that I've never heard, but the
we
ladies
hear
have.
'em.
And,
I
they've
hear
heard
'em.
two
They
screams, two women scream, and I promise I
wow.
haven't murdered anybody
Yeah.
here. So
Well, I hope not.
Well, we hear
it's still
I
kind of
hear
early
it.
in the month, but
I
you know.
hear a lady talking all the time in that room.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
And
it was funny.
and we've caught his hair being touched
Yes.
and pulled up like somebody
Yes.
touching his hair, and he feels it. He feels.
Wow.
Yeah, I zoomed in one night. I was like, all right, this is
Yeah.
annoying me. Whoever is doing this,
weird.
stop. And I went full screen, and you could see it. I don't remember which show it was, but you could plainly see it. And
Yeah,
like,
I think it's somebody
stop.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I cut on my hair, so I can't do that. So.
And it was funny on that show that we heard the screams too, because
Yeah,
Glenn and the guest, nothing, and like we both went,
yeah. Me and
Oh,
Shay,
wow.
Shay was like, "What the heck was that?" And we only heard one of them on the
yeah, there was
show.
what, like two more on the same
And there
one?
was at least one more. Yeah,
I think there was a total of 3. And so
Wow.
And,
that's why if you
that is
catch me, I'll
how
look at my microphone to see if the little thing's moving
that
without
is
me
how-
talking.
Glenn now enters the third dimension on some occasions.
yes. Very strange. Very strange.
If he just disappears, he's went to the third dimension.
When
Yeah.
we have these paranormal shows, you just never know what'll happen. So yeah, they're referring to we had a show and I went off screen.
It was that
And-
same show.
Yeah,
Was
Was
the
it the
same
same show?
time.
Okay.
yeah.
And I could still see everything. It was trying to make everything work. And I was talking back and forth. And I had time to pull up windows and stuff. And they're
But it
still
was just
on
the
the
three of
screen
us.
doing their thing.
Yeah.
But my computer and everything, I could see and hear just like I do right now. And I'm like, what's wrong with this?
But our guest was there, and there was our second guest said he was sitting on the back.
He was in
the
backstage, yeah.
But
Never
Glenn
saw him.
couldn't
So.
see him.
So they mess with technology. I think that they like to play a lot for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes all of this electronic stuff gives them energy. And so they're feeling
like,
froggy.
we know that it really annoys Glenn, so we're gonna screw with him.
Yeah. But this was like a blood curdling scream. It was
Yeah,
weird.
like somebody right outside his door, like shrieking.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So I got it saved. So, but yeah, because I was like, what is that? I even amplified it. So, and now that I do all the editing, I will occasionally find things in there. Like, I swear to God, Bobby had a dog last show barking in the background. Last Misfits.
I heard the dog barking.
So
I
maybe
thought
he
it was
does have a
Freddie's
dog. I
dog.
don't know.
Yeah, I
Did you hear the
heard
dog?
that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe he does have a dog. I don't know. I'd never heard it before, and I was like, and it just occurred at certain times. I'm like, what is he doing? So yeah, and I think that they do like to sometimes play tricks and take our energy and have fun. One of the things that I remember one time when I very first started in this, they were playing with the FM thing that rotates between channels and say a word when they want to come out. And plain as day, I heard yoo-hoo. Well, the guy didn't want to talk to him, so he flipped to AM, and I heard the same voice, and I'm like, okay, I want to know what the AM for you. What they say? And he's like,
wow.
I'm doing this right now.
Wow.
And we were in
No,
the woods.
they switched to AM. It's very important.
Yeah, they wanted to talk.
Yeah, and we were out in the woods. We weren't because it was a weird thing. We went looking for Bigfoot and found ghosts instead. So
Crazy.
No, we're getting into the woods with that. Nope, I'm hightailing the other way.
I sometimes wonder if there isn't different dimensions for each type of entity or something. I mean, in quantum mechanics or physics, I mean, we don't really know. We don't understand all that. So
Yeah.
I like to imagine it like the forest in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
We just walk to the middle of the forest and it's a ring of different.
Yeah. That's cool.
Here's the Sasquatch tree. Here's
Yeah.
the UFO tree.
Yeah.
Everybody has boarded up the Wendigo tree, so we don't touch that one.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think it is? Do you think there's different levels or planes, or?
There's obviously different something. It's different energy, different frequency. It could it all be the same? Maybe. You know, we don't really know if ghosts and cryptids and ufology, all that, maybe it's all mixed together. We just don't know.
I've heard a lot of the UFO people speaking lately about that, leaning that way, which
I don't think that's correct.
I don't know.
Well, I've heard in the past 10, 15 years, they've started saying that aliens are fallen angels, and I just don't think that's correct.
Yeah. Maybe some can appear that way.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah,
But
if they choose
who
to.
knows? Yeah, if
Maybe.
they choose to. Exactly. And
Yeah, that's possible, but I don't think all of them are fallen angels. I mean, why would they come in a spaceship? Angels wouldn't need that sort of
Because they're
technology.
riding in style, man.
But angels
But
wouldn't need that
if
type
They're
of
like,
you-
I'm tired today. I'm getting in a Buick.
if they wanted you to perceive it that way, they could make you see it that way. So
that's true.
I
I
don't
see
think
it.
so. That's
Yeah.
just like recently.
Well, and just like spirits, you know, they might show up to one person as a giant lit orb, and the next person might see a full figure. Somebody else might see a shadow. So and they can pick what recorder they go into. Even if you have 3 right there beside you, they can pick one to go into. So we just don't know hardly anything really. And if somebody does say they know everything,
Yeah, they're full of crap.
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like there's something, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we don't know, but I'm interested in it. I'm really interested.
Well, one of the most recent things I was reading about, they think that the teenagers that went into the Miami Mall, where there were supposedly it was just 2 people fighting, and it called out
Was
the
that the
entire
alien
Miami
thing?
Metro-Dade Police Department, that they opened some kind of portal or something. They were chanting and doing something. That's the newest thing I've heard on that.
Really?
So yeah.
Hmm.
Who knows what they could have brought in?
And you know, that goes back to people not really knowing what they're doing,
Messing
and
with stuff that they don't know diddly
messing with
squat
stuff.
about.
Yeah.
Oh dear, my husband came in and said I have to get off. We're
Okay.
doing something bad. I hate this, but can we do it again?
Yes.
We can do it again. Go take
Yeah.
shelter. Be
So
safe.
sorry, we're taking
Oh,
shelter
you're
now.
fine. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Be
Be
safe.
All right. Be safe. I'm going to take you off screen here. So
Bless
yeah,
her heart. It's
I
scary.
liked her.
that is very scary. And I
Yeah.
mean, but we do want to make sure that our guests are safe.
I know it.
And you know, if it was one of us, we'd do the same thing.
Absolutely.
The only one I wouldn't do that for would be Bobby. I'd keep him on screen. So.
Wendell
He'll
said
be
that
fine.
he said that's one of the sounds. Was it a scream, Wendell?
And I think he's referring to, he sent you and I a video, which I'll play it after the show.
One of the sounds that they heard in the Talladega forest.
Talladega's hotbed. I'm going to be there soon. So Talladega's a hotbed.
What kind of sound is what I'm asking him? Was it a scream or what? A howl. Okay.
A howl.
The Yahoo. Yahoo.
Yeah, I'll never forget that as long as
It
I
was
live.
the Yahoo.
It was the Yahoos out there in the middle of the forest.
If I can, I'll send our link to I'll send it to Tommy. If he wants to come in early, he can come in early, but we'll have to take a commercial break. But yeah, absolutely, we want Cyn to be safe. I was looking at the radar, and it is nasty up there in Tennessee right now.
Well, I have some people that I used to work with that I believe are up in Michigan, and they're getting hit pretty good up there too.
Yeah, there's a tornado warning right where she lives. So yeah.
Is it down? It's down below me, right?
No, it's west of you, due west.
Oh,
so Yeah, the tornado warning is due west 2 counties over. Looks like Roane County. So here now I'm a meteorologist.
Oh, thank you.
And that's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 71 here. Dang. Yeah, that's good tornado weather.
Yep, that's perfect for. Yeah, it's a tornado warning for. What county is this? I don't know what I just did. I pushed a button. Stewart, Montgomery, Robertson, Sumner, Macon, Clay, Pig. Yeah, it's all west of you. So Rutherford, yeah. So
what?
Goodness gracious.
I was
well, you know what?
hoping to hear some of her thoughts on the ghost hunting equipment.
Well, we can do a special episode with her too. So it's not like, since I know we're getting booked up, a lot of people don't know, but we've been making so many changes behind the scenes. We've been going out on more networks and experimenting with more things. I probably just broke the computer.
Well, you're still here, so
that's for the moment. But we're getting booked up through July already. I'm already looking at August, and we're getting some pretty nice B-list people that are coming in, an A-lister in August, I think. So, yeah, please like, follow, share, subscribe, please, before I lose my mind.
Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, I actually downloaded a sound file to remind me to say that. So
good for you. Needed it.
Yeah, I do, because I'll forget about it. Now I won't be able to find it. So
I think if we do what we on the Big Brother thing, maybe to offer people like that little, maybe like a hour, 30-minute segment.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to harass Big Brother players. So
I'm so ready.
Yeah, and so anybody that's paying attention now, we're playing our next upcoming show, CBS's Big Brother, which is on Paramount Plus 24/7. You can view inside the house, which is great. We will be doing at least 2 shows a week on it, and they're scheduled July 17th and 18th to kick off the season, and they're going to be Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday for their show at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if we go live after their shows, which is typically what we do, we probably won't go live till 10 o'clock our time. So it's going to be a late night for you, Shai. So
yeah.
Well, if we're only doing an hour and a half, it's
they usually did an hour, right?
Yeah, we only have one marathon where we went 14 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they had a contest and we were live. We said that we were going to stick it out. There was no other podcast doing it, so we were going to be the only ones to do it. And so we could see after they cut the live feed off of CBS, we could still watch it on Paramount Plus. And so we were describing it. So yeah, that was kind of cool. But all of us were falling asleep on the screen.
Yeah,
because my TV is like right behind my computer, so I'd just be like,
yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm editing, I got two screens on mine, so I can also put CBS on one. I'm going to upgrade that. I'll actually probably I've needed the third monitor for a while now, so I'm probably going to buy it.
Oh, good Lord, you're going to drive yourself nuts.
Well, when you're doing all this editing, and then you got emails to answer, you get too many screens open. So if I could just like move them around, that would be better for me. I like to stay somewhat organized, but
now when you set up when you have the double screens like that, do you have it set up where you can just like drag from the first screen over to the?
Yeah. Like during the show, I'll move you guys around so I can pull a file up or something usually. So, but and also Friday night is our Grinning Guardian Gang live, which is always awesome. We have Wayne Miller. He was on this show. He's going to come over and talk about the ATF. But in case you're not interested in public safety and you still want to get your Sportcat fixed, well, there's a way of doing that. Friday nights live on the Thin Line Rock Station from 6 until midnight will be me playing music. So it's 80s style, probably some disco in there. So
there's always got to be some disco.
Always. Dina sounds like this is important. Oh, she's muted.
Remember to wear a condom. For useful advice to help you through the day.
That's what we do here. What show I'm on? The Paranormal Guys.
We're giving the viewers what they came here for.
Absolutely. We've got to fill a little bit of time, so we're just goofing off. No, I downloaded a whole bunch of sounds today for my show over on the Thin Line Rock Station. So
I just spent far too much time on TikTok last night.
Oh yeah, that's right. You sent me that video. Should have been mine.
I showed that to Travis, and he's like, "That was pretty great."
Wendell sent us Wendell. Why don't you just call us 1-888-88-YERGZ 1-888-88-YERGZ. Wendell, just call us and tell us if.
That's what I'm listening to.
Because I can't. I guess I can pull. Can I pull up a voice message on that? I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't think this is going out over the feed. Can you all hear that?
Mm-mm.
Well, he's got whippoorwills. And there's a howl in the background. Yeah. That's definitely a howl. Sounds like it's pretty far off, though. How to get that to stop. Okay. Got it, Wendell. Yeah, I'll listen to it and dissect it once I get off the air, Wendell. But yeah, it's kind of cool if you're out in the Great Talladega National Forest and you have an encounter like that. As long as it's a friendly encounter. So, but all of them are friendly, like ghosts. Not all Bigfoots are warm and fuzzy. So, Brenda is having some medical issues, and she's blind in one eye temporarily. And as she's getting older, she can't hear either. So she's kind of she don't have a leg to stand on. So it's rough being Brenda. Just gonna punch me for that joke.
It sounds like it's mimicking a rooster. Oh crap! That was thunder.
Is it getting you now? Do you got to go?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's just storming.
I started to tell her to leave her camera on live so if her house blew away, we could see it and get some ratings, but I thought that might be rude. So. Could you just please leave the camera?
Loud.
It'll be on the Weather Channel. And you'll hear me say, hey, tune in, like, follow, and share to the Paranormal Guys.
Need I remind you of the joke you made earlier about being live too?
Oh, yeah.
A lawyer didn't even get that one. That was what amazed me. So,
news on that. The lady that I told you guys about that owns the small business, and her husband is the boxer. Yeah. She is passing the information on to him to see what he thinks.
Sweet.
Good.
Well, we've got coming up June 5th, we have a wrestler.
A free cupcake.
So we have hold on, let's take this wireless incoming call. Who could this be? You are live on the radio.
Hello, Glenn.
Hey, how are you?
All right. Yeah, we had a interesting weekend last weekend down at Holland's Hunt Camp with Holmes, Cedar Creek Bob's Homestead.
Okay. So what all happened? I heard the scream, but I couldn't figure out how to play it over the computer. Well, I'll say that, but I probably could if I downloaded something. No, I can't download that. So unfortunately. So tell us, Wendell, exactly what happened.
Well, there's a bunch of us went down there with Mark Green for his meet and greet, and we was getting all kinds of howls and stuff down there. That weekend.
They were loud.
Roger Williams, he come down there and he Scott Squatch and Holler. He got a live video where he caught something, and we was doing a live. They was doing a live podcast showing off everybody sitting around the fire and heard the first howl, then the coyotes took over.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, they like
and 4 a.m. Sunday morning, I heard my 2 howls,
well,
but I didn't have nothing recorded.
I gotcha. Well, no, was that was at your house you were talking about? You heard that though. At 4
No,
a.m.
it wasn't in my house. It was down at Talladega National Forest.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I got to tell you,
Which is close by, really.
It's pretty inevitable. As soon as activity starts, you're like, oh crap, I got to start getting the recorders and stuff going. By the time you get it set up and stopped, one of our team leaders told us he started recording the minute we got there. So
yeah, Joe Parker and Pat, they recorded the whole time, and a guy named Justin, he did as well. They're the ones that sent you some of their audio.
Okay. Well, Talladega's a hotbed. I'm gonna be there in a few weeks, so yeah.
Get scared.
Are you going to Hollins, or where are you going?
Well, I'm not really. I don't want to say over the air, so I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I can come down and join you.
Probably not for this one, but maybe in the future. We're having a gathering for to remember one of our teammates that passed away. So this is just going to be a team
I thought
only
you
thing.
did that one. I thought you done did that for him.
No, that was the last time he was out in the woods. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're having.
Yeah, I just got it mixed up.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but that cat that Dina has is possessed Satan. So
no, head down on the phone
You
so I
leave
can't
Jenna
watch
alone.
it's staring its eyes through my soul right now.
It told JT it was not a skinwalker.
I don't know if you heard those screams that were on one of my shows, Wendell, but I swear it was that cat. So
it was not this kitty.
It might have been.
She's scared of the thunder.
Yeah, if you go look at Roger's little video he got from down there, it shook him up a little bit. And he didn't leave till after dark, and me, him, and another fellow walked up there back towards where he got his video earlier. And I had my little night vision camera, and he had a flashlight, and the other guy didn't have nothing. I let them walk ahead of me a little bit, and I was looking around, and they turned around and was coming back. Roger asked me, did I see anything? And I said, no. Then I turned real fast, like I was running. I yelled, run.
Oh, you mean that's something I would do. Let's see if you ladies can hear this. I gotta hit play here.
Yeah.
That's what came through my microphone that I didn't hear, Wendell.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear it until on playback. I read to go back and record it. So whatever it was, I swear I think something's messing with my hair. So
is it?
I feel like it is. So
did they ever end up finding that person?
The one that screamed?
In the water.
Oh yes, they did. They found him like 2 days later. Yeah.
It was a guy.
You know, I don't know for 100%. I think it was, but I don't know for 100%. So that nothing unusual in our neighborhood. So. Well, Wendell, I will let you go now. I appreciate you calling in and telling us about that. anytime we can get something, put it on. I'd like to. I know you saw the footage that my teammate got the last time we were in the woods, where you can see it. I swear, it almost looked like it gave her the finger and turned and walked away.
I did not see that. I did not see that.
That was cool.
Yeah. We put it. I broke it live on my show. She wanted it to go out because she had just discovered it, and we were about to go live, and so we put it out live on our show, and it did. Bobby was there. He wasn't with her. It was when we were all in the woods together, and he could make it out better. And he's the computer guy that slowed the video down and got the best footage of it. So you can see it's looking at the camera, and then you can see it's turned its arm and its shoulder. I swear it gives her the bird.
It looks like it
doesn't, but it knew that she could see it.
That on? I'm going to have to go hunt that down.
You don't have to. It'll go search for. I think it says Breaking Bigfoot News, since we had it during the show. Sometimes these shows go sideways. You never know what's going to happen.
He's getting tired of people watching him, so he's like, "Hey, y'all."
Yeah, it is. Like, look at this. If you can see that, look at this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like Dina saying, "I dated a vampire."
Oh, shut up.
Hey, speaking of which, we have a vampire booked. All right.
That's you do? Oh, really?
Yeah. Check the calendar. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Probably your ex-boyfriend.
Is he from Knoxville?
He's in Miami. Aren't all of them in Miami now? So.
Oh, I don't know about that now.
Well, they shouldn't be. It's too sunny.
Yeah. Yeah, cute.
Well, where do they vacation?
All right, well, I'll get back to the chat where I can see what's going on.
Yeah, okay. make fun of Brenda. She's only got one eye and one leg, and hell, she's deaf in one ear. So
she's a flying purple people eater.
All right, we'll see you, Wendell. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. All right, buddy.
He's not really an ex. He was just a. I don't know. I don't even know what you'd call him.
Fling. You had a fling with a vampire, and you won't tell us about it.
It's a fling thing.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh no.
I'd be like, heck yeah, I dated a vampire.
I'm not ashamed.
I got the scars to prove it.
Pictures. Pictures, or it didn't happen. You know, I am counting my lucky stars because I had dug and finally found a 58-minute episode that I could edit and upload to Nashville. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble. So now next week, we're going to have to get 2 solid hours. So because we're running pretty much. Nashville gets our show Friday night live. We're not live, but taped. So we're on live on Wednesday, and then Friday night it goes out live on Nashville. So I had a backup plan. They were about to get a Misfits.
Oh wow!
Well, hopefully here within the next couple months they'll have some extra.
Yeah, we're hoping we're going to do a lot. In fact, I think we're going to do a recording this weekend. I don't know if Dina and Shay got it hooked up, but
Dina don't have anything to do with it now.
You are carbon copied in every one of the emails, except for maybe the musician. So you might not be in the musician.
I need to put that. You know what? I hardly ever open my computer anymore, so I need to put that email on my phone.
Yeah, because today we lit it up pretty good. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was we had we have a publicist and we have an agent.
Oh wow.
And they were giving us plenty of people.
Okay.
In fact, we'll go through. I got a list of a dozen, and
I was gonna say, shoot, we still got that list to go through.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and there's that one too. So yeah, there's plenty of us to go through, and I want to be fair. I want you all to have a say in some of them too, because some of them I look at and I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything about that, and I'll pass. But you all might not. So.
All right.
Which is fine.
I'll work on that tomorrow.
That's why we're a team. So, and we'll make sure though, Dina, you're on the vampire one. So,
oh, thanks.
Maybe put some what is that white face paint on or whatever it's called, blush or rouge or whatever. So. Hey, I'm trying to kill time at this time, Dina.
It
Put on
was.
some rouge.
Rouge is not white.
See, there you go. Is there an apostrophe? Is it rouges? Who the hell knows? So.
No,
No, it's singular. It's rouge eye.
Rouge.
Rouge. Rosé.
So you just put on your palest makeup.
Okay.
You get yourself ready. I'm gonna get myself painted up like the Crow, and I'll be here.
Okay.
Wear some dark hair stuff.
All right.
I don't know what it's called now. Oh.
I'll do one half Brandon Lee Crow and the other half just nothing because I'm boycotting Bill Skarsgård.
Okay.
You know what's funny is our listening audience that doesn't watch YouTube that should go to YouTube and search for the Sportcat shows.
Yeah.
Plural.
Our paranormal guys with a Z on YouTube can come over and you've been listening. I know you have. We've got lots of downloads on the podcast. So
We
come
see
on
you.
and watch your show.
We can see you clicking on it.
See you.
I don't know who the people are in Michigan though. I don't know anybody in Michigan, but we have some dedicated fans of the podcast in Michigan. So shout out
Love
to
our
them.
Michiganders.
Thank you, Michigan.
So we have them. Yeah, our top states, of course, are Georgia, then Tennessee, followed by Virginia, and in Florida. Then it gets to Michigan and like Washington State. Yeah, so yeah.
Washington
And
State.
we have some regular listeners that are in Asia as well.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, we are international. So maybe I should have them call in on Ross's line. That'd probably be expensive for him though, but
Not if they call in. 10.
I don't know.
Does it work like they just have to call in after 9 and then he calls them back?
I don't know.
And then it's free.
If they call Goober, most people have cell phones with. Oh well. Anyway, if they call, it's the thing's on them unless they call collect.
Well, I know when we were traveling as a flight medic and we were traveling, we had to have the international phone plan. So because we were, we were hopping between islands and down in South America all the time. So we all got the T-Mobile international plan. So,
Oh, they probably got family over here.
which really sucked because T-Mobile in the States didn't work worth a damn, but outside of the country, by God, you could call anybody. I called, it's a true story. We were in Bermuda and I called one of my friends and I said, "You'll never guess where I am." I said, "I'm on a rock in a cave at the bottom.
Oh my
middle
God.
of the ocean. Where am I?" He's like, "What?"
Where did
Bermuda
your
has
wife send you?
that would have been the place. Bermuda has a cave system, and it was right by the hotel, and we were stranded there. Oh, the luck. And so I went and did the little trail down into the caves, and at the bottom of the cave, I had cell signal. I'm like,
Are you kidding? You are
Wow,
kidding.
this is the best signal I've
No,
had the
I'm
entire
not
time
kidding.
I've had
But
this.
I got to go to Mom's, and I don't have any T-Mobile service. It's the craziest
ridiculous.
thing.
Let's
Yeah, I'm
see.
in Bermuda at the bottom of a cave. I got perfect signal. I got 5 bars. But go to Mom's in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I got 2 1/4.
Shoot, 5G isn't even out yet, and I got 5G down here.
Are you planning on coming up here anytime soon?
Yeah, about that probably. Yeah.
About July. Well, I've got something for you. I was trying to keep it till you came up here, but I think I might just mail it to you.
Okay. Well, hold tight in case it's this weekend. So, but
Oh my gosh.
I have to make a sudden run north. So I hope that I don't, but it might happen. So
Well,
if
all
so, we'll
they're really
we'll figure it out.
predicting for us here is flooding.
Yeah. Well, not for that reason, but yeah, I would.
Dang it.
I maybe come up there. I'm looking on the radar right now, and it looks like West Knoxville around Turkey Creek is just starting to see it.
Yeah.
But it's going to slam north now. It's going to hit
Knoxville's got a
Powell.
Turkey Creek.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
we do.
It didn't when
I
I
live out
first
Turkey
moved
Creek.
there.
Oh,
It's one of the most affluent areas of Knoxville, Turkey
well,
Creek.
so they say.
Yeah, well, that's what they tell us.
Well, it's not the most affluent here.
I mean, I'm sure you could probably still buy your meth out there if you wanted to. So.
Oh yeah.
A couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah, Anderson County is already under a tornado watch, so it's right beside you, Dina. Yeah, it's coming.
Well, crap! It is right beside me. It might, but it might jump over the ridge.
Yeah, well, what's happening here in Georgia? Absolutely nothing. There is not a cloud in the sky. So
tornado warnings, watches, warnings.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other day, like when I messaged you, I was like, I don't know what is going on, but it feels weird here. I've heard I don't know how many people come in and say there are just so many planes flying around today. And there was just a weird vibe as soon as I left to go out of the house to go to work, and Travis and I were both like, something just feels weird. And the only time I started being concerned is when he said that like there wasn't any, you couldn't hear any of the birds or any of anything.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that's when I start getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the sky turns green and the birds are quiet, it's time to hide. Wendell, I don't know anything about the Anniston, Alabama Bigfoot Conference. I'm very interested, though. That's not far from me. So, of course, neither is the one in the Smoky Mountains. It's coming up in 2 weekends. So, actually, the friend of the show, Jessica, is speaking at the one in Northeast Georgia. Actually, two friends of our show, Matt Delph and Jessica, are speaking at the Northeast Georgia one. So,
you can get you some of those, some of that Smoky Mountain moonshine.
Yeah.
It's not that great.
It really isn't. It's not very alcoholic.
Yeah, it's for the tourists.
Yeah.
It's for the tourists.
I was watching a YouTube video about it where the lady, her name is Mama Talk, was trying, they were like, I think one of them was like cherries that were soaking in it.
Yeah, no, those were good.
And then there was another one that she tried, and she just said they were both awful. I'm like, well,
I do like the cherries, but they're not like the real moonshine.
No, they did. No, there was one that
if you want some of that, I can talk to my
Smoky
neighbor.
Mountain one.
Oh, I can get some here.
It was one of the others. All right, so how can I do this? No, I got to stay faithful for just a few minutes. Our second hour guest is here. I'm going to bring him in, but we will take a commercial break here in about 5 minutes, and that way we'll keep everything on track for the radio side. So,
wait, June 7th. It's not June yet.
Oh well, maybe Wendell time traveled.
Maybe he did.
I don't know. All right, I'm gonna bring our guest Tommy in real quick. Tommy, are you with us? Oh,
hold on.
Oh, hold on.
He's not ready.
He wasn't ready yet. All right, well, never mind then.
Oops.
These things happen. It's live television, radio. You never know what'll happen. So it's all fun and games until you
just give me a second. I had to be first.
Oh,
okay. So, what scares me is Brenda knows he's naked. That's what scares me the most. And she's blind in one eye. So
blind to some things, not all of them.
That's right.
Oh, mercy. All right. Well, Tommy, if you can hear us, give me a thumbs up behind stage when you're ready for me to bring you out. So how about that? Just that way we can be ready. So I wasn't sure if that was a thumbs up. So
Glenn's blind too.
Clarifying your thumbs up.
Is that your thumb?
Whoa. Luckily, that is on radio only. So, WDJY, you're going to love this one. And so is WRFN.
I'm just saying, it could have been a toe. Come on now. Could have been one finger, you know. Like, hang on just a minute. Y'all are just reading stuff into my words.
Keep talking. We got 5 more minutes. Keep talking, Dina.
That was a sizable finger.
I've never seen a
Oh, yeah.
finger cut like that.
What are those little... You have growth at the bottom of your finger.
No, for your information, I have full-size balls.
Oh God.
Oh, it made my stomach hurt.
Well, that's good. It's
I
good.
know, I
We're
love
getting
it.
our money's worth. So
I love it. I love it.
Oh gosh.
we're getting our money's worth on tonight's episode. We're also good. We're also on TV in some little county in New Mexico that's a secret, Los Alamos, and they put us on when they want to and don't tell us. It's kind of a secret.
That's kind of
We
fun.
It really is, because we have no clue what's going on there, and
We do not know.
don't dare ask about it.
No.
Not supposed to know.
I don't know where Los Alamos is in relationship to Area 51. But
Really?
what's a big state? There's Vegas. Vegas isn't near Area 51, but that's where they all fly out of.
Close. Isn't that where Los Alamos is where they fly out of, right? Isn't that what you just said?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me just look at it. Let me just check on this.
All right.
I think maybe he was referring to that's where the UFOs fly out of.
No.
I got no idea where the UFOs fly out of. So
Well, that's the story that I'm sticking to. It's they're coming out of Los Alamos.
I think it is.
You're welcome, New
It might
Mexico.
yeah, it very well may be.
Oh, that's where the atomic bomb was created.
I thought that was
That was where Manhattan
Ridge.
Project was. That's why I knew of it.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to take a
They tested it out there.
we're going to take a quick video break here, and we will be right back. Our listeners in WDJY, we will talk to you next weekend. In WRFN, we will be right back.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm Miranda Maverick, and when I'm in fight camp, I never listen to the Sportcat podcast.
And we're back. Hour 2 of the Paranormal Guys. So our guest is backstage now. I believe he is ready.
Is
So
he fully dressed?
Well,
We'll find out.
so, yeah, I'll put him up there with you, Dina. So here we go. Tommy, Touchdown Tommy. He has a story to tell, and we want to talk to him about it. So, Tommy, here you are. We're going to put you on the stage.
Hello.
How we doing?
Good.
Doing
How are
good. How are
you?
you?
Pretty good.
So, Tommy, I know we've talked a lot off the screen, but tell us a little bit about yourself for the people that aren't listening or that don't know.
Feedback.
Let's see. Oh, there's a. Sorry, turn that thing off. I'm well. My name's Tommy Edwards. I'm from a little town in Virginia, and when I was a young person, I was a football player. I was an All-American running back, and kind of made a name for myself in high school and college. I was consensus All-American in high school, and then led the nation in scoring for like half a season my freshman year at Virginia Tech.
Yep, Virginia Tech.
And set some records there, and then I've lived kind of a unique life. I've been able to like realize several dreams throughout my life. You know, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, and I did that in my late 20s, and I owned a skateboard company. And then I went on the road with the drummer for Leonard Skinner as the frontman for his band for a few years. And yeah, fun stuff. Rock and roll. But,
Just the way we like it.
yeah. And I ran a nonprofit organization that I founded after the shootings at Virginia Tech called the Heart of Virginia Foundation.
Very cool.
Music for Mental Health Awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Was in outreach.
How many years was that after you left? Because I remember you had quite a few records.
Yeah, that was like let's see, I left Tech after the 94 season, so the spring of 95. I played one season at Boise State in the fall of 95, and then didn't play my senior year. And so that would have been 13 years, because it was 2007 when the shootings happened.
Okay.
So, and I was actually living in San Diego and owned a productions company, and was just in town visiting when all that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's your alumni. Now, did you ever have any intentions of playing in the NFL?
I mean, at some point, yeah, I did. You know, that was never like my dream. My dad also played at Virginia Tech, and he was drafted in 1970 by the Bills and played with OJ. He was a fullback, blocked for OJ, and then he ended up getting put on waivers. He left to go be with his brother, as his brother came out of surgery. His younger brother had to have his eye removed in emergency surgery, had cancer in his tear duct.
Ooh.
And so I'm the only boy in my parents had, and I was kind of a surprise. It was more than 9 months after my uncle died, named after him. So seemed like had a legacy to carry, you know. Mm-hmm. And then as with the success in high school, it's kind of like that just kind of hijacked me, you know, my life for a while, and as that happened, you know, the possibility of playing the NFL was definitely there. And once again, that wasn't something that was my dream, but you know, my thoughts were I'd go play a couple years, bank some money, and then do what I want to do for the rest of my life, you know. Or
sure, it's an American dream.
Yeah, well, you know, it's the NFL. You know what it stands for, right?
Not for long.
Not for long.
Or the No Fun League, one or the other.
Yeah, not for long. Yeah.
You would have probably been in the era where they were still allowed to play real ball. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was definitely one of those guys. I was, you know, remember ESPN used to have the hits of the year.
Yes.
They have, you know, the big hits. I was the ESPN hit of the year in '95. Knocked that defense back from Montana and ragdolled him. And I had 2 hits on that reel. And then the year before, I had 2 hits on it as well. You know, which you don't see it running backs that often. You know,
no,
with big hits on there.
No. But when they do, they're usually pretty good. Now, and so you say you also had a musical career. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I still have that going on. You know, I always, like, from my earliest memories, I was just just like obsessed with music, you know, and here's bugging me. And I remember going to a music store with my grandmother and seeing these little pins, you know, of guitars, of different guitars, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing like the different shapes, like the Flying V and Explorer and Les Paul and things like that. And they just kind of spoke to me, you know. And there was my uncle's guitar was in the closet at my grandparents' house, and we weren't allowed to play with it. But I would pull it out of the closet every now and then and play with it and get in trouble. But you know, I guess I started playing guitar when I was like 12, 13 years old. I found a broken guitar in the trash walking home from school one day, and took it home and put it back together with like some wood screws and part of the license plate to you know, to bridge the gap where it was broken.
Yeah.
And then just kind of hacked away at that until I convinced my folks to, you know, let me get another guitar that a classmate of mine was selling for like $20, and then a couple years later, I went out and worked all summer and bought a used Les Paul, and then still had to learn how to play it. You know, play a little bit, but it wasn't until I was in college I started to kind of make some progress. But every time I start making some progress, I'd break like a finger, or like a hand, you know.
Yeah,
and makes it hard to
play ball. Yeah.
And then I started playing with bands and stuff. I had a band in high school I was a singer for. Then like after college, that was kind of my focus. When I was at Boise State, I started having like one of those big hits was against Utah State, and I gave myself a concussion in the process and experienced something that's called Wernicke's aphasia. It's where you can't understand what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of everything just sounds like gibberish.
Yeah.
And so like Charlie Brown's teacher kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to jog off the wrong sideline, and one of my teammates pulled me back into the huddle, and it was like right in between. It was at the end of a quarter, so we had to switch ends of the field, and they had to get the guy knocked out off the field. So they had a little extra time, and then we're in the huddle. I can't understand what the quarterback's saying. They break the huddle, and going to the line of scrimmage, I grabbed the fullback, and I was like, and what are we doing? And he said, same play. But it sounded more like, play.
That's awful, isn't it?
And then,
that's terrible.
And I said, I don't know what that is. He said, follow me, you get the ball. And I took that like the 2. And we scored on the next play. But after that, I started waking up with poetry in my head, like ruminating poetry.
Oh, wow.
And I'd always wanted to write songs, but had never been able to like put together anything that had any like meaning, you know. Or everything I tried to write just sounded like something else that you know that I listened to. And so I all of a sudden I started writing songs, and that was kind of the beginning of that. And then when I got back to Virginia after I moved home after the end of that season, after that year, I started hooking up with other people that played music, and then I ended up meeting somebody. I was so depressed. I started taking Fexer as an antidepressant, and then I had a fugue state. I was living with my fiance at the time, and I went out to play music one night and didn't come back for like 3.5 months.
Oh, wow.
And just like starting a new life which was, you know, kind of weird. And it was, you know, so one of my biggest kind of regrets in life that the way things happened with that. So, I mean, I was just little wasn't myself. It kind of gave me a kick in working with musicians and started a band, and then eventually wound up moving to South Carolina for a little while and really kind of cut my teeth in Myrtle Beach one year playing music around, and then after I moved to California, or actually when I came back from Myrtle Beach, I had a good little band for a little while, but then I fell and severed the nerve in the inside of my that fed this finger, the feeling in this finger and my thumbs, in our warehouse. We had a moving company, family did, and I was homeless at the time. I was keeping all my stuff in there, you know, and yeah, so that happened, and that kind of put the kibosh on shit for a while. But it was one of those things that I mean, it regenerated. I mean, I was actually living in the back of a pet store that a friend of mine owned, and I went and cleaned it up and used dental floss and a needle and gave myself like 8 stitches right here.
Oh, wow.
And it regenerated the nerve. But it took a little bit of time. Then I ended up getting married and moved to California and started a band there with some folks, and we ended up playing on TV a few times. And then right about the time my skateboarding career was taking off and divorced, and at the same time we were only married like 364 days. But it got me out of my hometown and into California, and actually my skateboard company was called Sasquatch Skateboards.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
cool.
Yeah, I made a big foot shaped skateboard.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Oh, I'd love to have one of those hanging on my wall.
Yeah.
My son would be jealous. Well, Tommy, you've also had quite an adventuresome life with things out in the woods. You've had experience with beings. Is that correct?
What? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying you've had experiences while you've been out in the woods and stuff with other type of beings and entities, haven't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. And with also with some of my friends that witnessing some of the stuff as well. Like shortly after I got back from Boise, it was Memorial Day, '96. Two of my friends that were teammates of mine at Virginia Tech came over to where I lived in Radford, and we went down to hike around in this nature preserve. It's right in the middle of the town. It's like a little valley where the creek runs through and runs out into the New River. And during the Great Depression, they had the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps. That they built all the state parks and national parks and stuff. Well, they had all the different projects, and one of them was a bridge to connect the two halves of Radford, where this valley was, and to accommodate, to make sure that the tributary to the river could run through. They built this like a tunnel for the creek to run through. And there's also a water main that runs through there. And we were down kind of near the mouth of that thing, and we heard like hand drums coming from it. So we thought maybe they used to have powwows over on the other side of the bridge, is where there's a main like city park, like right on the delta of the river there. And Radford's situated on the inside of a shoe curve in the river. And the New River is it's funny. It's called the New River because it's arguably the oldest known river on the planet. But both it and the Nile run north.
Oh.
And there's only a few in the northern hemisphere that do that. And it flows up into the Ohio and over to Mississippi there. But Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
The Ohio. The river turns into the Kanawha River in West Virginia, and that runs up into Ohio, the Ohio River. And
gotcha.
Yeah. But
it runs up my neck
Mississippi
of the woods.
Yeah.
So there's Mississippi mound builders, Indian civilization right there on that part of that part of the delta there, and they would have powwows a couple times a year in the park there. So we figured we could check it out, and so we hopped up on the water main to walk across underneath the bridge there. And about halfway through, I stopped and started singing one of the songs I had written at Boise, just because the way the echo and the sound inside that tunnel was just amazing, and I sang this song, and then we went on to head to the powwow, and the drums got louder and louder until you step out of the tunnel there, and as soon as you step in the tunnel, there's no drums at all. It's just like birds chirping and
wow,
nature, and maybe an occasional car will go by.
That's wild.
So we figured there's no powwow, so let's just go back the other direction, and we'll mess around in the nature preserve there for a little while. There wasn't anybody there. It wasn't open to the park at the time. It was just it was like a block and a half from where I grew up, and right next to the high school. So we used to spend a lot of time there when we were kids growing up, like playing Army and stuff, playing in the creek, and there's a cave there you could go in called Adam's Cave. But so we start back through the tunnel, and you hear the drums again as soon as you step back inside. But the further we got in the other direction, it got quieter and quieter until we got to where we stopped, where I stopped and sang that song, and there were no more drums. But we noticed there was a big hole in the ground that was like a whirlpool, like the width of the tunnel. Just a black hole that just dropped out into nothing. And so we're checking that thing out and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. There are a lot of cave systems and a lot of sinkholes and stuff in the area. But we thought we would have heard something if that had occurred. If something suddenly, if geological shift like that, and it was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen, And I mean, the drum thing was pretty weird, but this was it was like a wormhole.
Wow.
A portal or something opened up, and then we went on back out the other side of the tunnel, and I started talking. It's like I felt like I received like a download of information, and I started talking about fractals and Mandelbrot, geometry, and how everything, us and everything in our environment and reality is it's like a set of algorithms that are constantly running this geometry that's it's complex in that it doesn't seem, it's not like a square or a circle, but we do see geometric shapes in nature. And I studied wildlife biology in college,
right?
So you notice symmetry, stuff like that. But with fractals, it's something it's a larger pattern than we can typically recognize as a pattern. But all of a sudden, like the way that the tree's laid out, you could see the fractal and the way it's laid out, and even it seemed like the layers of the stratosphere were separating into the fractal geometry. Then we start hearing this weird kind of chirping coming off to the side from this weird looking tree kind of thing that didn't have much foliage on it, and it sounded kind of like a cardinal, which is Virginia state bird, but it's but it had like a kind of a reverb kind of sound on it, like electronic sound, like aspect of it. So it didn't sound like something natural,
right?
And it immediately got my attention, and my buddies were like, "What are you talking about? Just a bird?" I'm like, "There's no bird. There wasn't anything in the tree." I went over and shook the thing. Nothing flew away. There wasn't anything around it, and the sound was like emanating from that spot. And so at this point, we're all weirded out, and we figure we'll go ahead and leave and walk back to the house and maybe smoke a joint or something, calm down and have a beer or something. And so we go and leaving, you walk back down this way, and then up like a little road that leads you out of the parking lot, and the parking lot was locked. Like years ago, there had been a pool down there, like the city pool. Like my dad was like a lifeguard down there when the pool was there, and it was just fed by the creek. And they were just once a week they changed the water, just changing the thing, the creek water would run in.
Yeah.
But well, that was gone, but the parking lot was still there. And when we came in, it was locked. There's boulders on it, so you can't nothing could come through it. And had a motto gate, and it was Memorial Day, so there weren't any city workers opening it, and all of a sudden there was this car parked inside the gate, and it was like it seemed really odd. It looked like a Ford Probe, It was kind of bluish green, and the windows were black. And when I say black, I don't mean tinted black. I mean, they were opaque.
Yeah.
And so that all seemed really, really weird. So walk up, my buddy tries to open the door, and the handle doesn't move at all. It doesn't jiggle. It doesn't move at all. It's like it's welded to the thing.
Wow.
And so I just kind of stepped back, and I've been dealing with I started having some like abduction phenomena stuff happening when I was at Tech before I went to Boise, which is part of what I think what contributed to my breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown while I was at Tech. So I've been studying all this esoteric weirdness, trying to understand what I had been going through. And I just sat down and started doing this meditative breathing, and was just like staring at this thing and this car, and like my buddies walked around the other side of the car, and it's like all of a sudden the surface of the car rippled like water.
Oh my gosh.
And then the wheels sucked up into the thing, and it all the distinguishing features of the car disappeared.
Wow.
And it was like this mass of like mercury. It was like liquid mirror. and it just sat there and just oscillated like water, like a kind of like an elongated water drop, like if you'd see it like falling, or just kind of and reflective, just like a mirror, and didn't have any distinguishing features other than just being reflective. And sat and looked at this thing for maybe 15 minutes or so. And then eventually the wheels came back down out of the thing, sat back down, and all the features of the car came back. I got up, started walking off. My buddies followed me. We went back to the house. They got in the car. Nobody said a word to each other. It was just like mind-blowing. And we go back to the house, and they just get in the car and leave before. And I waved at them, and they left. And then, like a week or two later, I was in Blacksburg, had gone to like a barbecue or party that somebody was having, and we're like, "What was that thing?"
Yeah.
Like, what happened? And we had all seen the same thing. And we thought, and like first time I spoke about this publicly was on a podcast back in December, and I had both of those guys watch it and ask if I gave a if what I was saying was what they remembered seeing.
Right.
And they both said, yeah, that was spot on. And it was just weird, and then it's like that thing was an intelligence.
Okay.
And it revealed itself to us, and it had come through that portal. And all I can, it's almost like there was a almost like a dimensional estuary there, where the past and the future and the present all kind of were there at the same time.
Gotcha.
Like with the drumming,
it
seemed like something came from the past and it drew it into the thing.
Yeah.
And then that this, I don't know what it was. I mean, like I thought maybe it was some type of craft, or now thinking it was the intelligence. Maybe that's what that was, the tree. That was making the bird noise, because it was like if we walked straight up the hill through it's like a cliff, but straight from where the tree was to where the car was like a straight line straight up the hill there. And it was just it is the most incredible thing I'd ever seen, like to where I could say I was wide awake and experiencing it to that point in my life. I mean, like some of the things that were going on at night, leading up to these things when I was at Tech in Boise, were pretty phenomenal, but they also seem kind of like dream state, or they're like can be somewhat rationalized through where you like sleep paralysis, which is something that's often associated with like the abduction phenomena.
Right.
But I mean, when I was at Boise, I'd had a dream where Guyz came in to my bedroom, and I woke up and like jumped up and ran and tried to wake my roommates up, and
can you say that again?
I couldn't wake them up. They were
sorry. Tommy, can you say that again? You cut out. What came in?
Gray aliens, like little guys.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And then and I'm like shaking my roommate. The next thing I know, I'm back in my room, like laying on my back on what seemed like a gurney or something, and they're on either side of me, and then we just float out through the wall. And then just kind of, that's all I remember. Like
I've heard of it. I've heard of other people who have had that abduction experience say that same thing, that they are either on a gurney or just lying flat and float out through the wall like that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And if you have animals or something, they put them in a trance so that they don't bark or meow or whatever the case may be. And that is not uncommon. That's actually very common. If you read any of Whitney Schreiber, he talks about it extensively.
Yeah, and right before I came home for Christmas, I went to a buddy's house to pick up a CD, like a Jimi Hendrix CD that he borrowed, and he opened a drawer looking for the CD, and there was Whitley Strieber Communion in the drawer. I'm like, I'm like, let me borrow that. Yeah. And I took it, I started reading it. I ended up leaving it on the plane. And so I went to the bookstore, and they didn't have it in stock. So I ordered one, and I bought the second book. And then I went to the library and checked out Communion and finished reading it over Christmas. And then read the second one and the third one but before spring. And and then like some Bud Hopkins and then a whole bunch of other stuff, like down the rabbit hole of ufology and abduction, like literature that was available that you could get at like Barnes and Nobles at the time. There wasn't really a lot of resources, and the internet was still kind of in its infancy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like that stuff was going on. So like when this happened, like suddenly it didn't surprise me that happened. I mean, it was like it was fantastic and crazy. Yeah. And I wanted to share it and talk to people about it. But back then I got a lot of, he's crazy.
Right.
He's lost his nut. He's like he's a Fruit Loop now. And like one of the guys that was with me, he and I like leaned really heavy into it, and we would, every time we get together, we'd just be talking about stuff and sharing new information that we'd come across. And then the other guy, it kind of weirded him out to the point where he didn't want to talk about it, and he transferred to Yukon and finished out his career there. And it's weird, like the tunnel was built in 1933. My number at Tech was 33. My dad's number at Tech was 33. Oh, wow. One of the guys was number 3, and the other one was 83. Huh. And so it was just kind of weird. Like we made the whole Masonic connection and stuff, talking about those things. And like one of the guys was from Pittsburgh. There's there's a big Masonic lodge there. And then we got into the whole Illuminati aspect of things, and kind of like
that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. If you remember being on the craft, do you remember anything that could be resembled humans? Do you think maybe that our own government has something to do with this?
Well, that the concept, the whole MyLab concept, I hadn't like even considered until like I was on a podcast like back in December, and Rob was it Typical Skeptic, he mentioned the MyLab stuff, and then I started looking into it more and more, and then that reminded me of like when I was in California, a friend of mine printed out this interview called Project Superman between Andy Piru and Preston Nichols, and she'd printed out because there were so many parallels between his life and mine that she was like weirded out by it. And then after I read it, I was weirded out by it. And I wound up putting all my stuff in storage and then living in my truck for like a year and a half and just kind of moving around. And part of that time, I wound up in Malibu, which is like a notorious CIA programming hub, and wound up, being programmed all summer. And
did you know that at that time?
No. I mean, one of my handlers pointed out that building up there on top of the mountain right there, that's Laurel Canyon Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And it said that was notorious CIA site, black site, and also apparently where Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing. There's speculation of that too. And and one night I had been scheduled, my manager at the time, Handler, had scheduled for me to play a party. And it was July 2nd, 2004. And it's this house in Malibu Canyon. And we get there, and there's like two couples playing cornhole, and like the host, the guy at the house took us inside, and now I used to do a lot of drugs, and that didn't affect my awareness of what I saw or what was going on in my life. It was just the lifestyle. I was a musician, and and we get there, and it wasn't my handler. It wasn't my handler that I was with. He was working on the movie Soul Plane at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had arranged for another guy to make sure I made it to the party and stuff. And as soon as we get there, the the host takes us inside and asks us if we want a chocolate, and well, yeah, sure. And it was a mushroom chocolate.
Oh.
And and we'd already done some cocaine earlier that day, and like so those two things combined were not something I had expected. And like so I'm sitting around going, where are these hundreds of people? They're supposed to be here. And then like the two couples that are playing cornhole, they leave. So it's just like me and the guy gave me the ride, and then the host, and then this woman comes out and sits in my lap and starts playing with my hair and starts explaining how there's not going to be a party because it's her house, and the boyfriend didn't run it by her first.
Oh.
And then I'm like, you look really familiar. And I said, are you an actress? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, are you, anything that I would know? And she says, yeah, I was in a show called Chips. I was like, that was like my favorite show as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And then she was Officer Bonnie Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's arguing and like talking trash about the boyfriend to me with him sitting across the table.
Oh.
And for me, I'm looking at dude who brought me there like, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, things are already weird. So we leave and go back to this house kind of down the coast a little bit in Malibu, and where we had been earlier. And after a while, I mean, I thought at that point there were things going on where I felt like I was the Truman Show. I mean, weird stuff was going on all the time. Like it seemed like, I mean, it was like targeting, at the time.
They test you in certain situations, I think.
Oh yeah. So somebody just kept coming and putting more and more coke on the table in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like, the cops are going to kick on the door and I'm going to get arrested for these drugs. And so I just kept making them go away and just kept snorting them, make them just go away. They weren't there. Eventually somebody put like an 8-ball on the plate, and I just went and washed that down the sink, and everybody gets mad at me.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm like, screw you, you're all in on it.
Yeah.
I know you're in on it.
Make you paranoid and act crazy.
And then I threatened to run through the guy if he didn't get the hell step to the side so I could leave.
Mm-hmm.
And my truck was parked there, but I knew I wasn't going to be in any. I couldn't drive. I mean, I was getting like visual distortion and stuff, and so I just started walking up the PCH, just wearing like skin tight bell bottom jeans with the cowboy boots and this like black wife beater that said "white boy" on it. And it was like that was one of my clothing sponsors.
Okay.
And just ran. I mean, just I mean, would definitely have gotten the attention of CHP if they were driving by. And then the whole chips thing, that's going through my head too.
Yeah.
Then I turned up one of the roads called Winding Way, and like I knew that there was. I didn't know that it dead ended. I thought for some reason that it would keep going, and like connect into a road where I had been staying at a house up on Latigo Canyon. But I was wrong. It was dead end, but I laid in a ditch for a while and just like kind of waiting for the cars to pass by, and then finally got up and ran across the street and jumped over a fence down into a canyon, and then found my way to a creek and like got in the creek and ran up the creek because dogs can't follow you up the creek. I mean, I was out of my mind, thinking something was following me, and it felt like something was pursuing me.
Wow.
And so the creek led back to Solstice Canyon Falls.
Uh-huh.
So, and I had been there before, and I knew that directly above that, up on the mountain, was where the house I had been staying at up on Latigo Canyon on Hillside. And so I just like take 2 big steps to the right and start climbing the rocks. And it's a cliff, a couple thousand feet. I mean, in several places I was like 2 hands and a foot and one dangling, and just free climbing, trying to just get away. Eventually, when I finally got to a place where I could stop and turn around and sit down and rest for a few minutes, I was directly across from that building on the next peak over, which was the Laurel Canyon Air Force Base. And I just stood up and gave it the double bird because I felt like I was being watched. I mean, I knew I was being observed.
Probably were.
and you know, like I ended up like, I think I partially tore a hamstring and like, and got like poison ivy all over me. That's about, you know, the worst of it. But there were rattlesnakes. I mean, I encountered 2 rattlesnakes that summer. One of them I accidentally picked up at my buddy's jewelry studio, helping him clean up. Just scooped up a bunch of stuff and put it in a box, and there was a rattlesnake in there. And then we took it out and put it in another box and drilled some holes in like a plastic box. And Slash came by later that day from Guns N' Roses to pick up a piece of jewelry that he had made, and he took the snake. He had the snake bit and had a bunch of snakes as first pets, you know.
There they are.
Yeah. So so then
one of those things.
Yeah, this is my buddy Frankie Gibson. He actually made Janet Jackson's jewelry that she wore in the Super Bowl incident.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was all planned.
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that. Everybody knew it.
It destroyed her career. It's horrible.
Yeah.
She's just now coming back to music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't mess up Justin Timberlake's career.
No.
It was odd.
It was really odd.
So eventually, I made it back up to the house where I stay in, and like I got and just knew the door was locked because the owner of the house would lock the door, lock me out regularly.
Yeah.
And I sat there for maybe 3 hours. I finally got and walked over, and the door was unlocked. So I went in and laid down and slept for about a day and a half. And I had been invited to a 4th of July party at Suge Knight's house, and I didn't go. I was way too freaked out for anything like that. It was probably a good idea. I didn't.
Probably was.
But they were like, they were trying to market me as like kind of a kid rock, rap rock kind of act, you know. But I had some songs that kind of like mixed some of that stuff. But yeah, it was weird. And but then I ended up with like a $3.5 million contract on the table that summer.
Wow.
And I was like, nope, I'm out.
Really?
And
Did it freak you out to have that?
I ghosted and moved to San Diego.
Did it freak you out to have that big of a contract and have all that shit? Excuse me, have all that stuff happen to you? It just freaked you out like that, or?
Well, I mean, all like the Truman Show kind of like vibe was.
Yeah.
That was bugging me out. That was one of the big things, and like he's like the guy who was putting the money up seemed to be in on it, and like, and like there was an incident where there were a lot of drugs involved, and like the contract and stuff was hatched over a quarter ounce of cocaine over 3 days between me and him and like another guy, and like it got to a point where I just wanted to lay down and take a nap, and like the guy is standing over me praying, but the look in his eye and the words in his mouth were like not congruent at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost felt like, I mean, the closest thing I could like it was mouse homeless, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was like 40 days in the desert, like Christ's time in the desert, and then being offered the world, you know.
Yeah.
And not that I think I'm Christ or anything, even near that. But,
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, but it was
like they're indoctrinating you into a cult of some sort.
Yeah, kind of felt that way, and like, and I just say that I've been recruited by the Christian music industry several times, very aggressively.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask. Do you think the industry is in it, Hollywood in the industry?
What's that?
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think that the Hollywood or the music industry or any of those are in these things as well?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, all entertainment is run through, I mean, through the company, you know. Yeah. It's I mean, you look at Mockingbird, that Project Mockingbird in 1962, where they inundated and took over the American press. Well, they did the same thing with Hollywood and country music and rock and roll, and hell they bankrolled rap.
Yeah,
you know, the same folks that were heavily invested in private prisons were the ones that funded, you know, the whole gangster rap movement. in the 90s. And so it's a way to divide and to push propaganda, and also a way to transport drugs across the country. I mean, but Kathy O'Brien's a good example. She talks quite a bit about Nashville, and when I lived in Nashville, I mean, I got taken kind of pushed out of where I was working with Artemis because of some things that were going on, and like it was another like this opportunity that was happening where the chick I was dating decided she's going to buy a condo in Nashville, and it was in Belmead, which is like Beverly Hills of Nashville, in Tennessee, and like in this high rise building with like my neighbor was the head of the Ion Network television network, and like Peter Cetera was one of the neighbors, and like a lot of like industry folks lived there. And turns out that one of the guys I would interact with pretty regularly was the handler and the programmer of the boyfriend of this other of the host of this other podcast that I was on, the Imagination podcast with Emma and her boyfriend Gray. They moved to Nashville and Bellevue when he was a kid, and his handler lived in the building, and I would interact with the guy regularly, and I always thought there was something weird about him, and like he always knew way too much about what I was doing, and I felt like he was communicating with like my girlfriend, who actually was my handler that I almost married. I was with for 5 years.
That's crazy.
It's the weirdest.
You can't trust anybody.
No, I mean, like in 2020, I had another woman interject herself into my life that wound up, but she cloned my phone, and it was acting weird, and so I ended up like kind of like just triangulating and asking lots of questions over and over and over again, and kind of like to the point where she finally broke down and broke cover and told me that she was a handler for the CIA that had been assigned to me.
Dang.
And then showed me internal documents of her communicating with a senior security officer at the CIA, talking about me. And
wow,
she said that she had received a dossier in 2009, 11 years earlier, when she had moved back from Arizona to Virginia. Her mom was CIA.
What made her decide to tell you?
Well, she proclaimed her love for me, and then I proclaimed bullshit on that. But you know, she confirmed. I had a lot of question marks in my head about people that were like always instant friends that just popped up, and they were always there to solve every problem, but they never really would solve problems. They would just kind of like they just would just let them linger, and then those problems would still be there.
Yeah.
They run this. Anybody that gains any like level of celebrity in our country, be it sports entertainment or music or Hollywood or the news, whatever it is, they all assign, wranglers, handlers to like
keep everybody
to
in check,
distract you, keep you in check, and also to limit your ability to influence the masses with any real like that's going to like deviate from like the official narrative or like the status quo too much, so and if they do, then they're typically they're folded into it, and it's done in such a way that it actually like works to some ends that they're trying to like. I mean, the whole counterculture movement was initiated by the CIA, the LSD and like Timothy Leary and the psychedelic movement, free love, and then they brought it crashing down with Charlie Manson and folks like that.
Yeah,
as a way to like to squash it, because all of a sudden it started to like take root.
Right.
Yeah. So that's all been revelation. Actually, a friend of mine who I always joke say that he's one of my handlers. Is like my best friend from middle school that just kind of popped up, and he'll call. He called just a little bit ago. I haven't heard from him for weeks. And anytime things are stressed or things are going on, he's like I trust that he has my best interest in mind. Some of these folks don't. Like that chick, like she poisoned me several times with like eye drops in my food and stuff. And yeah. And yes, I mean it's just horrible shit. I mean they hire and they and they look for people who are sociopaths or like just on the verge of sociopath.
Right.
Ego driven and like narcissists and folks that have that are within the
spectrum of
spectrum, but also like their ideology is like America, and which is cool. I'm all about American freedom and everything. That this is I consider myself a patriot, and but my country considers me a enemy of the state. I mean, I was on the terrorist watch list for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when I started talking about CTE, when I had ran the nonprofit organization for mental health for like 7 or 8 years, and then and working with community service boards, doing all kinds of stuff, going into high schools and colleges and stuff like. But right from the very beginning, there was disruption. There were things that happened where they were trying to figure out what I was doing, what my intentions were. Like I had a secretary from Virginia Tech, from the Office of Peace and Conflict Resolution that they put in right where the shootings in the classrooms where the shootings happened. Like that she showed me and the president of our board of directors, Roger Odell, his son Derek was one of the victims who was shot at Tech. Around there, and so we were trying to coordinate with Tech to do some stuff, and Roger recognized what I was doing with the nonprofit as I was the only person that was actually addressing the problem and what had happened there. And like the goal of the nonprofit was to raise awareness for mental health, destigmatize mental illness as a way to prevent school shootings. But then when I would change my message and start talking about CTE, which is neurological health in athletes, which I have been clinically diagnosed with CTE. That all of a sudden I was a danger to my community.
Wow.
I started getting these abusive like wellness checks. Like it was like 8 wellness checks. Then they broke a bunch of laws and basically committed criminal conspiracy to have me hospitalized. Like they coerced my sister, who was a principal in the school system, to go to a magistrate whose his supervisor was one of my high school football coaches. And like I found out later that the staff at the hospital had all been briefed the day before that I was going to be coming there, which it hadn't been determined that I needed to go to a hospital yet.
That's not right at all.
No, I mean it's violation of my civil rights. It's color of law offenses. It's
sounds like a big old HIPAA violation too.
It does. It does.
Hate crimes. It's basically they kidnapped me.
Yeah.
And then while I was there, they did it over Martin Luther King holiday, so I'd be there the maximum amount of time instead of 3 days.
Right.
It ended up being 6 days. And then like 2 months after that, I got served like emergency custody papers from my kid's mom in Kansas. And I didn't know that it was a school resource officer that had gone to my sister that had kind of initiated things. Because my sister my family wouldn't tell me how it all how it all came about.
Yeah.
And until that happened, and then everything clicked, and I was like, oh, this was classic abuse of psychiatry, silence political dissident, and 101. And I posted about that, and I was in New Jersey at the time, and my girlfriend's former girlfriend for her birthday, and was actually planning on putting some money down on a piece of property up there. So I posted about the criminal conspiracy I had been involved, had been subjected to, color of law crimes, civil rights violations, hate crimes, and posted on Facebook. And within 15 minutes, I got a phone call from a dispatcher. They're telling me to take it down. I'm like, have I committed any crime by doing this? It said, no, but you can't print stuff like that. I'm like, I can't inform the public and the people of our community that the officials in our community are abusing their power in this way. I was like,
we're in the U.S.
Speech, honey.
Were you in the U.S.?
Oh yeah. I was in New Jersey, and this had happened in Radford, Virginia, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And then, well, the deputy chief of police was the wife of the magistrate, the supervising magistrate who was in charge of all the magistrates for like 19 counties in Southwest Virginia, who was one of my high school coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And like the principal of the high school had been one of my JV coach, and like the high school football coach at the time was one of my teammates from the time. Like it was all like, so
everybody knew everybody.
Yeah, and it stank, you know.
Yeah.
So then the next morning, after I tell her to go screw herself, and the next morning I get a phone call, and the cops are inside my house. Oh. This was like 5 minutes after my cousin leaves the house, telling me that he just fed my dogs and secured the house. The cops said they got to the house and the door was standing open, so they have to go in and check because they came for a wellness check. But they had a canine unit with them for some reason.
Yeah.
Not for a wellness check, you know.
Yeah.
And then so they're searching my 5-room house to make sure I'm not in there dead while they have me on the phone.
Okay.
Pinging my phone. They went through every box, they opened my safe without a warrant.
That's against the law as well.
So they didn't have a warrant to enter the house, and it wasn't exigent circumstances. It was bullshit. And then open the safe, and then they ping my phone. That's 3 different warrants they would have needed. Yeah. And then they get in touch with, after they figure out where I am, they contact the authorities in Bergen County, New Jersey, which is where Newark is.
Yeah.
And request a SWAT team be dispatched to apprehend me, telling them that I'm armed, homicidal, headed for a school.
What?
And so I'd already been on the phone with the cops breaking into my house, and then we leave and go to like have brunch in the next county over at like a New Jersey diner.
And then you're being told you're on the run and homicidal.
Yeah. So then
armed on the run and homicidal.
I didn't hear that until the SWAT commander told me that like a few weeks later. Actually, no, it was that night when we returned. We stopped by the police station. We went ahead and had breakfast, and she gets 2 text messages, one from her landlord, one from a neighbor, saying shelter in place. There's a SWAT team going across the way, and there's like an armed lunatic. And then a phone call. She gets a phone call from a detective asking her if she knows where I am. She hands me the phone. I talk to the guy. He says my van's been involved in a hit and run when you come fill out some paperwork. And I'm like, okay, I'll be right there, and hang up. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not going there. And so we leave and go to into the city, which had been our plans all day.
Yeah.
I mean, from the get go. And then on the way back in, we stopped in to the police station, and the guy who was working the desk, the duty officer, was like, "Man, somebody has got it in for you. Somebody does not like you." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "They said that you were armed, homicidal, headed for." And finally, after like 6 hours, after it timed out, and like they had sheltered in place businesses, homes, and the schools for 6 hours in Hohokus, New Jersey, which is like 15 minutes from Manhattan. You can see Manhattan from there. And so it can cost the community hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in the county hundreds that just in manpower, and put at risk everyone's lives. You know, like I very easily could have been killed. I'm pretty sure it felt like an attempted murder. You know, swatting is illegal, and just I forgot to mention, it was 2 weeks after the Parkland shootings in Florida. So there was already like a heightened like level of you know, just national awareness of, you know, trying to those guys want to be the guys that prevented that next school shooting, you know. So I went from trying to prevent school shootings to suddenly being, you know, they've created this narrative where I'm a potential school shooter, and which is just bananas. And so then
to go from just enjoying your business and enjoying your lunch to all
being
that.
Somebody that's targeted to be possible homicidal.
And then we get back to my van, and they'd broken into the van, and it broken the latch on the slider and broken the latch on the back doors. They'd broken a painting that I had done for my girlfriend for her birthday, and like done a bunch of damage to the inside of the car, a couple $1,000s worth of damage to the vehicle. And I had $4,300 in cash stashed in there to put down on a piece of property, just over in Pennsylvania, just across the state line, about 20 minutes from there, to move my business up there and to move up there to be closer. And that was gone. Nobody disappeared. Nobody take any responsibility for that.
course not.
Nobody's done anything to repair it. So then I finally, she's so freaked out by it that she follows me back to Virginia because she's afraid that they're going to murder me when I get back. And so she goes and confronts the police. Now, the new chief of police was one of the guys that was involved in that.
Oh wow!
And I've contacted the FBI. I mean, hell, one of like the head of the FBI, field office in Roanoke, which is like 45 minutes away. It's the closest one. Played football at Tech like 5 years behind me. It's a guy named Dave Cadella. And I mean, I got his personal cell phone number from one of my teammates, and he has not responded to text messages or calls. And I don't know if my phones have been hacked for like 6 years now. And like, I mean, I found Pegasus software on one of them last year, which I'm sure it's on all of them, and it's continuing. And so I don't know if my calls and stuff are being like diverted, because I've tried to use my mom's phone, my sister's phones of friends and stuff to try to contact him, and he hasn't responded. I've had that the FBI hang up on me twice, trying to tell him what's going on. I've had multiple folks that are connected with the CIA interfering in my life. Not to mention just the handlers, but actual they're trying to influence me. I recently had an old lead guitarist from my band from like 2009 moved back to town from DC into the little town where I've been working on restoring some buildings downtown, and he's living in one of the buildings that's attached to the building where I have all my art set up as an art gallery. And he's like, yeah, I'm a company man now, and and he's like, I'm watching you, and he's like, and he says, I was supposed to meet with him Saturday, but he's like, they need you as a remote viewer. And
oh wow!
My mentor, from I met in California, was one of the architects of the remote viewing program for the U.S. government through SRI, and the Men Who Stare at Goats, that movie, the Jeff the guy played the dude.
Yeah.
Bridges.
Yeah,
Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. His character is loosely based on Daryl, who I initially met in 1980 when he was in my hometown with Mind Reach, trying to locate the body of this young girl that had been murdered by a guy who also played football at Tech and who was in the waiting room with my dad the night I was born, talking about quantum entanglement. And that's how I end up getting brought into the Stargate program as a kid, which is a whole nother, chapter of stuff that happened that I've just things been validating, learning more and more about, and then that rolled into a super soldier program when I was at Virginia Tech, which is what brings me back to the MyLab stuff when I was being abducted. I'm pretty sure that was.
Tommy, I'm gonna interrupt you for one moment.
Yeah, man.
WDJY and WRFN, you can tune us in next show for more information, and we'll be right back.
Hi, Rich Fields here, and come on down. It's time for the Sportcat Show.
Okay, we're much more relaxed now. We are off the radio. Every 58 minutes, I have to take a break so that I can, when I edit this, get it out while they get their commercials and stuff in. So I wasn't trying to interrupt you. So
no, you're good, man. You're good. I understand. I can see we're right at the 2 hour mark.
Yep. The hard break. So, that's so impressive. And yeah, you've been through a lot. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the right word is. How you've maintained it. I mean, I've had a little bit of. I've had a little bit of entanglement with some of the things you speak of, but wow.
Yeah, it's weird shit, man. It's and I officially became a targeted individual in like 2018 after that happened, and like I started getting like overtly getting followed and stuff after I moved to Nashville to move away because I was afraid I was going to get murdered, and and then I started getting followed back and forth from Nashville to Virginia when I go back and forth, and I had FBI agent flash his credentials at me at work one night, just while he was drinking. It was weird. That was weird. And then like I'd go to the coffee house I'd go to. Suddenly there was this one guy that was always packed upstairs, and suddenly it was just this one guy up there, and like I'm sitting there like trying to write and stuff, work on my computer, and he's talking about what I've been doing for the last week.
Oh my gosh.
And then like the bar I would go to on my nights off, like the same person kept like approaching me that was dressed like a hippie, like it obviously was not a hippie, it, just kind of, he was trying to look like somebody that was trying to play like a hippie on like Dragnet from the 60s, you know what I mean? Like just, like way too over the top with it. And like the conversation I'm having with him just is it's weird. And then like in 2021, when I'm in Nashville, like I went back to visit. I stayed with a guy who helped me move out of my place, who I'd never met before. He helped me move out, and he drove one of the vans back to Virginia for me, and I ended up taking him back to work there. And then the next few times I was in town, I'd stay at his house, and just the weirdest stuff. The folks I was around, and like my old roommate and stuff, they were all manipulating me and like doing all this weird shit. And then I caught them all. They're a bunch of narcissists, so they tell on themselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is generational?
I think maybe somewhat. Yeah, my grandmother worked at the Radford Arsenal, and she had like the highest level of clearance, the top secret clearance that a civilian could have. She worked for the military since she was 16, and my dad grew up. His first job was selling newspapers and like shining shoes there at the base, and like my grandmother worked. She was the assistant of the general who ran the show, and her office was in this underground facility that was top secret up until like the 90s when they declassified it. But I remember going there as a kid with her, and that's when that's after I met Daryl at Tasty Freeze when I was with my grandmother one Saturday, and then they started bringing me in. Well, her boss was really trying to get my dad to go to West Point when he was being recruited out of high school. And he took a trip up there, and he did not want to go to West Point, so he didn't take the required math, so he ended up going to Tech.
Yeah.
And then I got heavily recruited by the Naval Academy, and the recruiter told me straight up they wanted me for naval intelligence. When I was 10, I'm dyslexic, had some learning disabilities, and had some emotional trauma when I was young that kind of set me back on like just being able to focus and doing some shit like in the first grade. And so when I was like third grade, my grandmother suggested that I might have dyslexia, and she was a psychology professor and had helped establish the community college system in Virginia after teaching elementary school and high school grades all through my mom was growing up. And my mom's dad was the head of safety at the base, maintenance and safety. And my dad's mom worked for the general there. So even their marriage seemed like I mean, the wedding pictures of my parents, it's like my mom's parents look like they're at a funeral.
Oh.
And it was just weird, and so like that kind of all seemed weird. And then my dad's dad, when he passed away, my aunt told me that my dad went off to a camp when he was 12 and came home a different person. He was just mean.
Oh wow!
So something happened to him then, and then when he was at Virginia Tech, Tech is like our area was it was ongoing like MK Ultra like sub projects. Virginia Tech, military. It's a former military college. I mean, the CIA was on campus the week before the shootings at Virginia Tech, running drills. They recruit heavily out of Virginia Tech. The head of clandestine services for Virginia Tech was a 1984 Tech grad who started working for the CIA when she was a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
And then there was a private psychiatric institute, hospital in my hometown called St. Albans. It's one of the most haunted places in the United States. And the murderer that had played football at Tech too, a guy named Steve Epperly. There's a book recently written called Under the Trestle, about the Gina Renee Hall story. And I helped her sister locate her sister's body. I mean, he was the first person convicted of murder without a body in the state of Virginia. And then
so you do remote viewing.
Yeah, and I found some like human remains on our property when I was like 23 on my 23rd birthday. And when I had detectives come out and take it was a humerus that had been sawed off with a radial saw about 3 inches above the elbow. They took that and said they was sent it to the crime lab, and it never made it there. I called them to find out what the results were, and they said it was a cow bone, which I'd studied comparative anatomy, and I knew that was wrong. I was fascinated by skeletons and bones and stuff as a kid, and like a lot of like macabre artwork. I'm an artist, visual artist too.
Yeah.
And like my high school art teacher said, I should do anatomical drawings, medical drawings.
Yeah.
But, so when I contacted the crime lab in Roanoke, and they said they never received anything, I went down and started digging around more, and I found like skin with like hair like this long attached to it, and like clavicle, finger bones, like just like bloody clothes shredded, and apparently there was a human trafficking ring. Man. And the FBI told they interviewed anybody who spent any time with Epperly to find out just to, if there's anything that was pertinent. They told him they had him connected with 53 murders, and he was connected with the mafia group that ran drugs. There's a no duty international airport in Dublin, Virginia, where this guy Wally Thrasher who's a famous drug smuggler. Following Chasing the Flying Squirrel is another book that the same author wrote Under the Trestle, and Thrasher and Epperly knew each other. They used to hunt together, and when I say that, I mean people.
Yeah.
And so they would take women to South America and bring drugs back, and it was kind of like it was the blueprint for Mena, Arkansas. And there were a bunch of former Tech players that were involved in this drug smuggling and distribution thing back in like the 70s and 80s. A bunch of restaurateurs and stuff. And weird stuff. So when I came back right before the pandemic, a friend of mine who was friends with her sister, Delana, asked me if I would want to meet her, and I said, "Yeah, I'd really like to. I want to show them where we found these remains," because I immediately thought I think it might be Gina Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole life since I was a kid, it was like one of those things that me and a bunch of kids that grew up during that period of time. It was anytime we were in the woods somewhere, we're going to stumble upon a body.
Right.
And then when I did find human remains, that was like, and the other stuff that I found, I had hidden in the attic of this old, like, pre-Civil War house where we ran a business out of, that was on the same property, and that was just at the mouth of a sinkhole where that stuff was, and it was under an old mattress that had rotted out. It was just the metal frame, and then there was a bunch of brush on top of it, and the brush was like somebody had been layering and adding to it over the years. And when I went down one day, and there was a bunch of new brush on top of it, and I had been asking around and talking to different people, trying to find out information about what happened. And there was another murder that the body that was found the next day up at the next exit from the lake.
Yeah.
And the lake house where the murder happened belonged to the mom and stepdad of another family friend that played football at Tech. That was like one of my uncles growing up, who had gone out with the murderer that night to a nightclub in Blacksburg. And I'd stayed there as a kid, and heard these men who were like my uncle's best friends actually, tell the story of what had happened, and from their perspective and stuff. And so it's just all this stuff was like, just part of my life growing up, and And then I had the opportunity to meet Delana, and then there's a guy named Dr. Arpad Voss, who's a forensics expert. If you're familiar with him, he's out of Tennessee. He was one of the guys
he testified in Casey Anthony's trial.
Yes, exactly. And he's the one that found the Hell's Angels that were buried in a bus on the Manson Ranch. He created a piece of technology that was a sniffer that would follow the chemicals that the chemical progression of decomp for clandestine graves.
Yeah.
And then he also created this other thing. It's kind of like a dowsing rod, like electronic thing that works with resonant frequency of familial DNA.
Okay.
And we took that up to the property that we used to own. My parent we sold it in 2004 to the people who bought the racetrack that had recently donated that track to the Newer Valley Speedway the Sheeler Motor Mile Speedway to Pulaski County, and I think they did the same with Calfee Park, which was the oldest ongoing like professional baseball stadium in the U.S. But there were bodies everywhere, and there's DNA. They're finding like,
oh really?
Yeah, like it was like a killing field, you know. And they wound up finding finger bones of two other girls that had gone missing from Roanoke in 1977 under the floorboards in the Epperly house. And now check this out: the chick that revealed herself as a handler, she was a local real estate agent, and she handled the sale of the house, and then managed the property for the person who bought it, and the CIA bought it under a shell company.
Oh, you're kidding!
And then they allowed Voss to go in, and they found those additional remains that connected to the other that had gone missing in the 70s and 77. And then Delana became friends, and she ended up sharing. This next book that she's writing, she was called to ask if stuff was correct that she'd written about me and the thing. And 2 nights before I was born, Epperly had written this letter and put it in a bottle and threw it out into the New River. And somebody found it, and he's like, people don't recognize my athletic prowess and what a da-da-da-da-da. And he was like soul searching. And then 2 nights later, he's in the hospital with my dad when I was born, saying that he wanted to be the uncle that my uncle had passed away, so he wanted to be there like the uncle. Yeah. And I've never met him, but just the quantum entanglement's crazy. But they ended up finding Gina's remains.
Wow.
In like 5 different locations.
Wow. Isn't that's just
something else.
Yeah, it's a lot of entanglement from, I mean,
every
all
direction.
Yeah.
And we're all a part of it in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part.
So then when I met Dr. Voss, like he and I were like, we're sitting outside a restaurant, we're going to have some dinner after we'd been out searching for stuff. He did find human remains on the property, but it wasn't like the people who owned the property had raised the elevation of where that sinkhole was by at least 75 feet.
Oh wow!
It's fill. They brought in like tons of like road fill, like concrete, and filled up that hole, and then kept bringing it up, and it couldn't pick up through all that material.
Yeah.
But up at the top of the hill where the house used to be. Oh, and now check this out. When I came to help my dad move the business out of there after he sold it, first thing I did was go to retrieve those remains, and they were gone, and they were hidden up in the attic over the kitchen behind a bunch of broken glass and shit that in like vacuum tubes and broken bottles and stuff that I had only told one person they were there. It was a local attorney.
Oh,
who's a family friend, like his brother's my attorney, so it was just weird. They bought
not Howard, is it?
Howard.
Yeah.
No.
T-Brook Howard. Okay.
No. Yeah. Another friend of mine's dad was the attorney for the biker gang that was involved in this thing, and the wife of the drug smuggler. Have
you written a book yet?
I've been trying to, but like I've had 5 computers just not work, hack, just stop.
Yeah.
I've had all my thumb drives and stuff disappeared, and then get put different places. My house gets broken into. My mom's house gets broken into. Like I carry shit with me everywhere I go to try to.
Yeah.
But like I'm on my 6th computer right now in the last 3 years, and it's a tower. I've gone through 11 phones.
Damn.
It's
crazy.
It's attrition. I mean that's the whole like. I mean, the whole Stasi, like.
Yeah, your whole everything. You'd have to put everything on a hard drive or something that wasn't on the computer.
And I do.
You could stash somewhere.
And I do.
Yeah.
And those things have shown up missing. Like I have stuff disappear off my cloud.
Yeah. Because they could just wipe your whole.
Yeah, it's like nothing's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't do that because that's too obvious. The corrupt files.
Plus, a lot of it's a game to some of them.
Oh, it totally is. It's hyper game theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's shitty. And like one of my closest friends, actually, I ran into today and saw for the first time since last time I saw him was the first time I'd seen him in 2 years. And I had a phone disappear that night and showed back up when he showed up at his neighbor's house that I had given a ride to the grocery store. And my phone had disappeared from the grocery store. And his plug it suddenly showed up at the grocery store. And then all of a sudden, and that phone's hacked. That's a different one. That's this one. All of a sudden, it started doing weird shit. And then I go in and I found a bunch of things that the timestamps are, December 31st, 1969 for most of the apps. It's got a bunch of like.
His did that one time.
Weird apps.
That's a unique date.
That is a unique date.
That's the starting date for Linux.
Yes, it is. I'm very familiar. I've had phones just turn into that date. I'm clear.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
You're among friends. Well, Tommy, I don't want to keep you all night. But I do want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
We're since we're not live on the FM radio, we can't get in too much trouble.
Yeah.
Do you have a song you could perform for us?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, there it is. 69.
A bunch of weird apps like,
I got one of those too.
I mean, like hundreds of weird apps that I've never heard of. That don't, when I search them, and the thing is, my search results are filtered.
Oh.
So I can't find out stuff. I mean, like they're blocked.
My phone came up yesterday and said I had 738 duplicate files. We need to erase them. I'm like, no, we're not going to erase them. What they are, first off. Second off, how the hell did I get 738 of them?
Right.
Then you got to go through one by one and make sure that they are actually duplicates and that they're not trying to
just get you to erase a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Let's see. Try to think of a. Okay, I got one. Just trying to find something appropriate. I mean, to the situation. I've written hundreds of songs. Every day is a new day, and the years keep marching on. Sing another song. Sing another song. Love me do or love me don't. The show it must go on. The show it must go on. Another town to sing a song. And the moments slip away. Years go rolling by as the miles just tick away. And the caravan rolls along. Some get lost along the way, and the rest we just move on. Well, life is good and life is bad. You hear it in my song. And you can sing along. You can sing along. Sing of joy. tragedy and sing of right and wrong. Sing of right and wrong. Just put your heart in every song, 'cause the moments slip away. Years go rolling by as the miles just tick away, and the caravan rolls along. Some get lost along the way, the rest we just grow strong. Life is just a mystery with clues along the way of what to do and say, what to do and say. It's not the destination, it's the journey, I must say, journey, I must say. So seek the joy in every day, 'cause the moments slip away. Years go rolling by as these miles just tick away, and the caravan rolls along. Some get lost along the way, and the rest we just move on. Well, every day's a new day, and the years keep marching on. Well, I'll sing another song, sing another song. Love me do or love me don't, the show it must go on, the show it must go on. Another town to sing a song, 'cause the moments slip away. Moments slip away. Every day's a new day. Every day's a new day. Every day's a new day. And you can sing along.
Nice. Thank you.
That was
Thank you.
Great. That's very beautiful.
Love it.
You know, maybe you could take your story and put it into songs that can't take that away from you.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have been doing that over the years. You know, it's
Yeah.
Good.
it's like it's weird. my early stuff's like kind of psychedelic and like talk about aliens and all kinds of weird shit. And that's when all that was going on. Like, yeah,
You can put anything in a song, I think. I like that one though. That's great.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It'll be on Spotify, so if you get picked up, I'll be your agent. So,
works for me.
I will not be your handler though. I've already got one of those, I think.
I got about a dozen of them right now.
Oh god.
We'll kind of do little backup dances for you.
Yeah.
That works. Yeah.
Cowbells. That's the instrument I can play.
More cowbell. You know what this song needs?
More cowbell.
Yep.
Every song needs more cowbell.
See, where I whistled, I would normally play the kazoo, but I didn't have the kazoo with me. So.
Whistle's good.
I thought the whistle was great.
You did great. You did very good. Well, Tommy, I appreciate you for coming on. We're coming up to 2.5 hours, so we're really running over. But I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And I hope that you can come back and come be on our show.
Yeah.
And obviously, I want you to be a regular viewer, like, follow, share, subscribe, all of that. But definitely, you have a unique story, and you can sing. You can sing ladies some more songs. You can serenade them, but your story needs to be told.
I made that.
Yes,
I love it.
You made that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Very
crazy.
Cool. Very cool.
it's pretty badass.
It is.
Hey, this bar right here, this wooden nickel right here,
Yeah.
with the crows on it. Let's see, right there.
Oh yeah.
That's Three Crow. That's the bar that the guy from Central Casting showed up in his hippie outfit like 2 weeks ago.
He needs to go ahead.
And then like when I was there again, that was in 2019. Then when I was there again in 2021, he was a guy that was putting together a band. We're supposed to go to a party and they wanted me to play guitar for him. And the guy I was staying with is a drummer. He and I have the same last name, Jesse Edwards. Hey Jesse, what's up? How you doing? Big shout out to all my handlers and the people that screw with my head the whole time I was out there running around and playing musical brain cells.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, you always have a voice here on the Paranormal Guys,
Yeah.
and we will always try and get everybody's story out. That's my thing. I've got a mic and a mouth, so I'm ready to put anybody's story out there.
Heck yeah.
Hey, he needs one of our poker chips to put in his cap.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah,
poker
get
chips here.
yourself we'll have to send you one of our little.
Yeah, I can send you one of our poker chips and put it. We have poker chips for the show.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll get you one to put on there.
The creature from the Black Lagoon thanks you.
Love it.
He's most welcome.
All right, Tom, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you. I will message you here soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, see you soon.
See you
Tom.
later.
Peace.
Bye.
Patrick Wave.
Oh, good night.
Bye.
Patrick Wave. I was a special guest on the at the Miss America contest years ago.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.
I almost fell for that one. Oh, that was great. Aside from his story, there's a lot to be said about the mental health aspect and the things too. So the injuries to athletes are something that people don't take into consideration. So
True.
definitely need to get the word out there.
The most wholesome way to end a show like that.
I like his charity
to do that more
charity
often.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
we
nice.
really should. And I noticed that he was hitting some notes that resonated with you, Dina. So I kind of know you too well. I kind of knew I could read you. So when you faced when some of it was popping up.
I understand a lot of the stuff that he said and talked about. Yeah. Some of the reading I've done on a lot of things that go on or have went on in the past.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to sign out of here. We have next week on the Paranormal Guys, we have Ashley Hilt. She's going to talk about Mothman. You might recognize from her from We Talk Weird on Wednesdays. Or is it We Talk Wednesday Weird? I don't remember. It's something like that. And then we're going to have Tom Franklin. Franklin had a stroke. He is a poltergeist hat man expert. So next week is going to definitely be paranormal and creepy. So look forward to that. Not that my guests are creepy. Don't think that I'm saying that, but
they might be, and they might be okay.
Just us.
Yeah, maybe I should name us to the creepy guys. Friday night on this same channel. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe. We have Wayne Miller. He's an ATF agent going to come on the Grin and Guardian show. He's got a great story to talk about, and he actually has some paranormal stuff too to talk about. So you can tune into the Grin and Guardian. I'll try and pull that out of him. It's kind of an emotional thing for him. I don't know if he'll do it or not. So, and then Monday we're back to the Lipman on UFL, and I understand our guest is probably not with us. So, I don't know. We'll find out about that. So, but I also want to send a special shout out to well, maybe sooner, to Bobby. He sent a message that he is safe and sound. He's been in the tornado. What do they call it? Shelter for most of our show. So I'm sure Cyn was as well. So wish them well. I'm glad to hear Bobby's okay. I hope we find that she's okay. I was watching the storm while you were out of the corner of my eye, Dina.
Uh-huh.
If that tornado was what they were talking about, it was on the ground an awfully long time. So there's probably a lot of people that are going to need some help. So thoughts out to them tonight. So anything you got to say or where you're going to be?
I will be with Bracket Bastards on Sunday talking about boobs.
Nice.
Boob, yeah. All right, yeah. Bracket Bastards, great show. Tune them in, check them out sometime. Dina, what about you?
Be about bed.
Well, alrighty then. Well, thank you to everybody. Please. Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Be back. Will I be there? I guess I'll be there Saturday night on Misfits.
Yeah, we've yet to figure out what we're doing on the Misfits, so we need to figure that out. So.
If I'm not going to be there, I'll let you know, but I think I will.
Okay. Well, I hope so. Lord, it's been an interesting show.
It has. Sorry.
Guess jumping into the tornado shelters, talking about Men in Black, phones
Nice
being
wholesome
changed.
songs.
Yeah. Actually, that'll probably be the highlight of the whole show.
Probably will. It's a good song.
It was a great song. Once again, thank you to Yergs Radio, yergsradio.com. We appreciate you for having us on. And make sure to tune us in and check us out there for our replays. And we're on WDJY, WFRN, somewhere in New Mexico, Denver, and I don't know, some other places. I don't even know. I'll ask my agent, but she just yells at me. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice night.
Night.
Night.